Well, hey there. Hey there, and welcome to another Ignite Press Book Launch Livecast. I'm excited today because I've got Dr. Anthony Guarino here today to talk about his new book, The Neck Pain Solution. Before we dive too far into that, we'll just let you know that we here at Ignite Press specialize in helping people bring their messages to the world through the most powerful and durable medium ever invented, and that is the book. And if you have written a book or you have an idea for a book that you'd like to get out to the world, reach out to us. You can find us at ignitepress.us. That is ignitepress.us. But let's get to the main event. Today, Dr. Anthony Guarino is here, and I'm excited because we are launching today the Neck Pain Solution, a practical strategy for managing cervical pain and restoring function. Dr. Guarino, welcome. How are you today?
Thank you, Everett. I appreciate you providing an opportunity for me to talk a little bit about my book and some of the things that went into making it and where we are and what we're doing and all that.
Yeah, this is a pretty exciting time. You've been working on this book for a long time. Um, in some ways, you've been working on this book for a lifetime, right? With all the your expertise that you've developed and putting into this book. I guess a good place for us to start is um, who did you write? Who did you write the book for?
Well, the idea goes back to the beginning of my career. I've been practicing interventional pain management for more than 25 years. But early on, I realized some of the biggest problems occur because of a lack of understanding of what can be done in managing a lot of spine related issues. And I thought one of the best ways of me helping people to understand what could be done is to write a book. And so 15 years ago, I wrote two books on back pain. And it's taken me a little time to get back around to the neck. But over the last year or so, I have written a book and work with you guys with editing. And now we have the full book ready to be perused by the audience. And I'm hoping that it will help them to understand the concepts or the issues, the things that happen in the neck, and what options they have in order to treat this type of problem.
Excellent. And let me point out to people that the book right now is available on Amazon, where it can be purchased. Both paperback and Kindle are there. The Kindle is actually on a special launch price of 99 cents. And that will go away quite quickly. So if you are watching this on a replay and it's no longer 99 cents, I apologize. But if you're watching now, go ahead and grab that and share that. So, uh, let's see, we get turned that off there. There we go. Great. So, Dr. Guarino, I mean, this is a pretty loaded question, but what will people learn from your book?
Well, there are people can learn how to interpret medical information that's presented to them. They can learn about the likelihood of things helping. But it's really, it could grow across the whole spectrum from just understanding more about what they have, but also what options are available and how those options may or may not be helpful to them.
Okay. And what are some of the biggest misconceptions about neck pain?
Well, one of the biggest is believing that an abnormality on an MRI automatically explains the pain. As we get older, our spine changes, and those changes show up as changes in the MRI image. And the change in the MRI image may be just a manifestation of an aging process and may not be a manifestation of a pathology that could explain the symptoms that a person's having. So that's, in my mind, the biggest thing. But what one of the principles that comes through in my book, though, is Physicians should be treating the patient, not an image. Images help us to understand what symptoms may, what structures may be causing a symptom. But at the end of the day, a physician should be treating the patient and not an image.
I'm glad you brought that up. I understand. Uh, are there some people that have really profound findings on MRIs, but just don't have symptoms that go with those?
Yes, in fact, that's a very good thing to point out. There are people who have a lot of degeneration or things that you would think are causing or should cause a lot of pain, and the person has no symptoms. And on the other end of the spectrum, you can see people who report a lot of symptoms and may have minimal changes on the MRI. So the MRI or other imaging is a guide to interpret what things might be causing a symptom, but it is not diagnostic by itself.
That's got to be really frustrating for you as a physician, um, because I'm sure patients come to you with a whole lot of misconceptions when it comes to MRI findings and things. So, if someone is starting to develop neck pain or they've got significant neck pain, how should they think about treatment and what kind of different options that they can explore?
Well, I think about treatment as a progression. For many people, initial neck pains can improve in time without doing any specific intervention. But pains that are persisting, usually we start on guiding people with activity modification, then considering medication options, physical therapy, exercise, and during that time, we may get imaging to help guide us to better understand what is happening. um, that's where we get more specific information. Now, subsequently, that one of the things that may happen is some of the stuff that I do is symptom people that are having ongoing symptoms that are unresponsive to things like time, physical therapy, and medicines will consider for injections and or other therapies. And some of those therapies are called epidurals or radiofrequency neuroablations,
Mm,
or muscular intramuscular injections of medicines. And then when it's appropriate, we may refer someone to a surgeon to have the anatomy in that area of the neck altered.
okay. And do you see a propensity from people often to want to go straight to surgery? Like they just think like that's do this, cut this, we're all going to be great.
Well, I see a biased population. People come here knowing that I do interventions. So if they were wanting surgery, they wouldn't necessarily come to my office. But I would say, so it's a very small number of people, less than 1%, come to my office and say, I want to go directly to a surgeon. They're usually here from a referral from a surgeon or from other doctors in my area who want me to help them so that hopefully they don't need to get surgery.
Okay. Now, as I understand it, you've got more than 25 years of experience when it comes to pain management. How does this how does this color or impact the way that you discuss treatment options and findings with patients?
Well, like I said, I've been doing interventions my whole career, and I think they can be very valuable when appropriately done. But you need to select the right patient, um, and we use MRIs to help guide. Um, but we do an injection or a intervention with intention, and we're trying to decide, or what we need to decide is what are we trying to treat and what procedure will help treat those symptoms the best, and then weighing that against the alternatives and understanding the risk, and then proceeding from there. So the goal is to help them understand when a procedure makes sense and when it may not.
All right, and that's got to be the real art, right? I mean, yeah. You and I really haven't discussed this, but my first job out of college was editing medical legal reports for an orthopedic surgeon. And one of the things I quickly learned was how much art there is in medicine rather than strictly a reliance upon science and imaging. And that really was an eye opener for me. I
Hmm.
thought like most people do, hey, I see this on an x-ray, that's it, we're fixing it. I see this on an MRI, that's it, we're going after that. And to learn how much art was in there was really astounding for me. It was quite the eye opener. um, Now, in your book, the subtitle of your book is a practical strategy for managing cervical pain and restoring function. Why was restoring function so important that we to include in your book?
Well, pain doesn't tell the whole story. When I evaluate someone, I want to know what the pain is preventing them from doing. Can they work? Can they sleep? Are they able to exercise? Can they turn their head when they drive safely? Can they play golf? Can they pick up their grandchildren? All those things are helpful for me to understand and to the significance of the pain for the individual, and also as a guide to determine the potential effectiveness of any subsequent interventions. Um, so I really want to, when I do an intervention to help someone, I'm looking to know not only that they perceive less pain, but that they are more functional, or that they have reobtained the function that they previously were searching to have. Pain management isn't just reducing the symptom of pain, it's also seeing a restoration of function and an improvement in the quality of life.
Excellent. It's almost like if the function is restored, what's the point of it all, right?
Right.
Well, then again, sometimes resolving the pain without the function is the best somebody can expect, I suppose, but from case to case. Now, I also understand that you've spent more than 25 years doing medical legal work. Now, for those people who are watching this and unfamiliar with that term, medical legal is that crossover between where medicine hits the legal realm. And so when you talk about expert doctors doing expert testimony on workers' comp cases, disability cases, divorce cases, all sorts of cases. And so how did you get involved in medical legal?
Well, an attorney who was one of my patients, I needed to obtain some legal advice, and we had an interaction outside of the office, and he proffered that he uh, doing medical legal work. And I didn't understand or know much about it at that time, but this attorney subsequently educated me. And then subsequently, I found that I enjoy doing that type of work. It involves being able to somewhat be a detective and figuring out what happened in a situation, and then helping people understand what happened, what caused it, whether the treatment was appropriate or not, or whether a procedure was done properly or not, and then relaying it both potentially in written word and or oral testimony in a deposition and or in court. So I've been doing, I've been doing medical legal work for over 25 years now, and I do about 60% plaintiff work and 40% defense work. And to me, it doesn't matter to me who hires me. I just am looking to objectively present the information that I see. So I'm really into understanding and being somewhat of a detective and a teacher, and not necessarily an advocate in that type of realm.
All right. Now, kind of thinking about this going down the medical legal line there, the work you do, is there a geographical area in which you do it? Is it something you do across the US? How does that work?
Well, I live in St. Louis, Missouri, so I would say probably 50% or more of my work comes from the Midwest, but I do actually have been retained as an attorney in a lot of the continental U.S. Actually, I think I did one case in Hawaii many years ago. Attorneys have contacted me all throughout the country. They usually find me in some way or form. There's a couple of venues or ways that people can find me, but currently one of the best ways is through my webpage, www.painstrategy.com.
Okay, excellent. And I'm going to refresh my window here because we seem to be frozen, or at least on my end. But I'm going to keep going. We'll keep going with our interview here.
Okay.
Um, so, Anthony, I kind of want to go a little bit down that road. Attorneys, when they're seeking you out, what's some information that is helpful for them to know as they evaluate, you know, like when should they be reaching out to you in their process, in a perfect world?
Well, in a perfect world, they if a situation of malpractice is questioned, you need to have someone who understands what is the standard of care or what would a typical physician do in a situation, and then someone to also understand and explain whether the outcome from the procedure and or complication is something to be expected or not. So, the attorneys, the sooner you can get an expert involved in the case to tease out the information, it will help guide them in deciding whatever they do in the medical legal process. I guess Everett is side of the screen is frozen. So if someone's looking at this right now, um, give us a moment. And I assume Everett's troubleshooting his side.
I am back.
Hi, Everett.
Sorry about that. I'm sure your answer to that question was amazing. Um, let me go back to it though. Just is when you so the we were talking about when people can when attorneys should reach out to you if they where in the case is ideal. And if you could re-answer that for me, that would be great. And then and then we'll go back to some more questions here.
I would think it would be to an attorney's advantage to retain an expert as soon as possible in the case because they can help um, the attorney, whether on the plaintiff or defense side, to understand what the standard of care is for the physician who did the procedure, as well as understand whether what caused the problem that is evident and to help tease through the usually extensive amount of information that's presented.
Okay. And do you offer some sort of an opening consultation with an attorney as they're considering bringing you onto a case?
Yeah, I usually will spend a couple minutes on the phone prior to being retained to first make sure there's no conflict of interest,
Yeah.
but also to make sure that what questions the attorney has or how they feel they may need me as an expert is consistent with what I have to offer.
Yeah, excellent. And that's got to help them make those decisions, good decisions early on so that they're not wasting your time, their time, resources, et cetera. Now, I know that you also are working on some educational videos. Can you tell me more about those?
Well, yeah. So in writing this book, I was hoping to provide information to the general public, and then subsequently, wanted to present information that can help our attorneys to understand the issues involved in this aspect of spine care. So I'm planning to read sections of the book into videos with comments and put it on my YouTube channel, and that would be for the general public. And separately for attorneys, I'm going to highlight the significant pain management issues that come up with the various things related to the neck and spine.
Excellent. Excellent. I imagine having some resources that attorneys can utilize to help guide them in their process will be helpful. And um, so that's terrific. So you've got 25 years so far. What is something that you wish patients understood more about treating neck pain?
Well, I think, like a lot of things that deal with chronic issues in pain management in particular, they need to understand there's no magic treatment. The people understandably want someone to say, here's what's wrong, here's what you'll do, and you'll never get hurt again. But sometimes medicine can provide that, but often it can't. Good pain management is frequently a strategy rather than a single treatment. So we identify what we believe is the cause. We start with reasonable treatments, measure the response, we adjust things, and through the process, focus on reducing pain, improving function, and improving person's quality of life. That's really the solution. It's really not just one thing, but it's in combination a strategy, a pain strategy that can help a person have less pain, improve function, and a better quality of life.
Excellent. And on that note, someone gets your book, someone buys the neck pain solution and reads it. What do you hope they'll do differently as a result?
Well, I hope that when they walk into their next medical appointment, they're better prepared. I hope instead of simply asking, can you fix my neck? They're able to ask, what do you think is causing my pain? Does my MRI finding actually correlate with my symptoms? Or what are we trying to accomplish with this treatment? What happens if it doesn't work? What are the risks and the alternatives? And so these are some reasonable questions that I think a person can derive after reading my book.
Yeah, Tony, do you find that by and large we make pretty poor patients sometimes? I, you know, I've definitely seen people treat their doctor's opinions like they are the 100% conclusive right thing, and they don't question in any way, shape, or form, and then sometimes be in a bad spot. Are you finding that we're not very good question askers of our physicians?
Well, certainly people vary in um, their understanding and their desire to do things to help themselves and or their motivation to get better and overall. So I don't really think of a bad patient. I think of patients who are in different situations in life, and I try my best to help them where they're at. And again, with the overall goal that they may have less pain, improve function, and a better quality of life.
Yeah. Well, fantastic. So, lastly, here, is this book a completion of a project for you, or do you see it as part of something larger in regards to either education or speaking or things like that?
Well, I like educating and I plan to continue to educate. I plan to be using YouTube videos as a means. I am thinking about writing more books and I do public speaking at times when in certain situations and with again the overall goal to try to help others to have a better quality of life when experiencing chronic pain.
Excellent. Now, if people want to reach you, what is? Give me your website again.
www.painstrad
Painstrategy.com, right?
yeah,
Okay.
strategy.com.
That's terrific. I'm going to put that in the chat out there. Well, I tell you, Dr. Guarino, it's been a pleasure to work with you on your book. I'm excited about it. I want to remind people that they can pick up their copy of the neck pain solution right now on Amazon, where it is available there in paperback and Kindle. And as a reminder, the Kindle is currently on a launch special, 99 cents for a very limited time. So I would recommend picking that up. And also, I think that this is a great book for for a gift. If you know somebody that is experiencing neck pain, or I think maybe spine pain altogether, they could probably benefit from what this book has to offer. Uh, Dr. Guarino, any last thoughts or anything before we sign off here?
Well, hope that anyone who's listened to the video um, may be more informed and know that there are people out there like myself who want to help them with their neck pain, and that they shouldn't give up if they're not successful with whatever they start out doing initially, but that there are things that we can do to help them. And I hope my book can help them understand what those things are, and that people benefit from the book overall.
Fantastic. Well, thanks again for taking the time to prepare it, write it, and see it published and out to the world. It's been a joy working with you. And for you out there in the audience, thanks for joining us. Please pick up a copy of the Neck Pain Solution. And if you are an author or a would be author and you'd like to see your book out to the world, please reach out to us at ignitepress.us. That is ignitepress.us. Thank you again for joining us.
Thank you.